Today I want to shine a light on the gaps that I found when it came to searching for or educating myself about older children. So going back to some of the mandatory education that you have to do when you adopt internationally, at least, I was given a list at one point and it broke down the books on, adopting internationally or adopting older children and, kind of categories that those books fell into, which was great. So I picked one of the older children books. Unfortunately, I thought it was a bit obvious, and I found myself just finishing it just so I could finish my education and say that I did it. So I can't recommend a book yet about adopting older children and really having it be beneficial in my eyes, at least. So then after that, it felt a little flat. So I went to the search engines, researching there to see if I could find anything about older children. And there I faced their definition of what pulled up, at least, and what I was able to find was older children was usually about 6 or younger, just not an infant. And I meant, no, I mean an older child. You're gonna be adopting a teenager. And so those resources were limited. And, I kept finding, like I was saying through this whole process, that, a lot of the books didn't come from our perspective as far as choosing adoption. A lot of the books or articles were hard to find as far as adopting an older child. So then I researched that, and well, what is the deal with that? Why is that, the case? And I found that, race or ethnicity wise, some of the statistics I was finding, 50% are white, 25% are black, and then you go kind of all the way down to the bottom, and 4% are Asian, which we're adopting from the Philippines. And it was like, oh, that's a really small percent. That's quite the minority there. And so then I researched age, and 1, 2, and 3-year-olds make up about 37-ish% of adoptions. And these can change throughout the years. This is kind of just what I found right now at this point. And then if you go up to 5 years old, that's about 50% of the adoptions. So teenagers make up, it was less than 10% of the adoptions. So again, a really big minority, a really small percentage as far as what kind of adoption is happening, the one that we're choosing, of course. So then it got me thinking, okay, well, no wonder why my situation isn't covered very well. It's a really small percent of people. And, so it's not going to be saturated like the other categories of adoption might be. So again, that's kind of why I'm here. I'm doing videos because I felt like I'm not a writer, I'm not an author. I encourage anyone who is, if you're finding these, to write articles and support the smaller percentages of adoptions, and that so they don't feel kind of stuck or, like they're alone in this situation. It's already a hard process. It'd be nice if we could find more things, talking about what we're actually going through in our situation. A couple other things that caught me off guard a little bit was on Instagram, I was making a post about adoption, and I went to their little images, and you can, add it to your post or your reel or whatever. And so I just search adoption, and again, at this point, it can change. I think I counted about 25 little sticker or pictures that were about pets, and maybe 5 that were about adopting a child or child specific. So that, not to take anything away from animal adoption, supporter of that. I have 2 dogs, but I definitely do want to add more resources and tools being available to support and make awareness to, adopting a child. And then even on some of the hashtags that I've been using on these videos, I click on them and kind of search what they're representing, or if I can come across anyone else similar to me and our page. A lot of the hashtags were kind of dominated by, again, animal and pet pictures and videos and awareness and education and support and all of that. So again, not to take away from that, But my point is to try to add more awareness to adopting children. So hopefully, I'm going to keep hashtagging. I'm going to try to get my videos out there more. Yeah, that's the goal, just to be there for those that don't feel like their adoption journey really does have a good foundation of education, resources, and support underneath it already, and fall into maybe a smaller percent of adoptions like us, where we could use more education, resources, etc. So thank you for watching my video today. Stay strong, adoption warriors.